Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Tonight, as always, I have Neindorf with me. Neindorf, how you doing?
I'm excited. I think we got some good stuff tonight.
Oh man, I think as we said a little bit pre-stream, we're gonna struggle to keep this one controlled because I probably have 2 hours worth of content all pent up inside me. It's Just Crypto is with us tonight as well. Bob Nothing, formerly Bob Nothing, formerly Bubbles. Just, what are you going by now?
Bubbles. Who's Bubbles? That was the other Bob.
Oh, that was the other Bob. Never mind then.
There's
been so many Bobs.
Nothing,
I don't know.
House Nothing has disbanded. That was some bear market stuff. No longer peering into the void.
House everything now.
House everything. House something. But yeah, I've just been back in DeFi Kingdoms really hard for the last couple weeks. Really love the updates and really stoked about the game and what's going on outside the game too.
Yeah, you've been dropping some absolute alpha content. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to your YouTube and chat here and in the comment section of the YouTube video. If it, like, I will be honest, when boar hunts first came out, I think I won, one out of my first 20 boar hunts, and then I watched your video about the mechanics of the game, and I was like, okay, I need to start approaching this a lot differently than I am now. And I've been watching your videos for the chicken fights as well. So thank you for putting that content out there, and highly recommend it to anyone who's struggling with the fights. I mean, it's a mechanics based game, and you do a good job of helping us understand, how you can set yourself up to win.
Thank you. I'm powering through. YouTube is really tough. I'm not very good at that, but I'm pretty good at figuring out combat systems. And once I can figure out the exact mechanics, I can usually figure out a pretty good plan. And this fight is really plays into that. It's really great.
Yeah.
I love it. Boars was good. This one's great.
I I really agree. I'm picking up steam and loving this game more and more. But before we get into that, Neindorf, what is our question of the day?
All right. So I think this is a fun one. It'll lead us to our next topic nicely here. But what is your favorite, let's say, mythic or fictional sword?
I love that. You gave me a chance to look at this ahead of time, and I kind of went at this from the direction of, favorite mythic sword, like in all of fantasy genre. And I have to say that, what I actually go to is kind of, I would say more in the video game trope area of the world. And I would say the Master Sword in Zelda is
Oh,
my
that's a good one.
is my favorite kind of mythic fantasy sword. And what I did is I looked up on ChatGPT and on the old Google, and honestly, ChatGPT's replacing the old Google quite a bit for me these days. What are like the top 20 mythical swords, and like a quick like sentence background of them, and I was like, okay, there's a few mythic swords that I'm not aware of out there from mythology, and I had some fun with that. So here's what we're gonna do for the giveaway today. We're gonna ask that you write in what your favorite mythic sword is, and we're gonna have you write, like keep it to like one sentence. It needs to fit into YouTube chat. But what is your favorite mythic sword, and why? And that will be the entry into tonight's drawing and giveaway. So we're going to spin the wheel again. We're still sitting on some really hot and sexy items. We still have not given away a greater stone. It has not landed on it for the giveaway wheel, but those are out there. And I mean, if we're talking swords, it should probably be greater stone of might, right?
Or
I
sword.
mean,
Do we
if
have?
we've got one of those left, I think we might. Yeah, we.
Yeah, we don't have any swords, Bob.
There's two swords in the game now. I thought that's where this was going.
That is where
Yeah,
it's
we'll
it's
get
that's where
there.
it's
We'll
going
get
next
there.
for sure. So, um, Bob, what's your favorite sword? Do you want to go to the newest sword in the game?
I was gonna answer that seriously, but yeah, let's look at Excalibur instead.
All right,
Oh,
let's
My
bring
favorite
this up.
myth, my favorite sword is the Chris knife. I just watched Dune 2. It was awesome.
I need to see it, and I have not. I've heard such good things about it. It's a two-handed sword, right?
It might not be for sale.
Yeah, there's not any for sale. So
Just
we're
got discovered by I forget his name. We played
yeah,
Fight Club.
yeah. There's two, and there are two out there now. Yeah,
is it on
I
my
was gonna bring up a
timeline?
picture, but I forgot.
Yeah, I need to see if it's on my timeline.
I
This
think if you go to the Void Hunt discussion in Discord, you'll probably be able to find it in there.
okay. I'll be searching around for a while. So Excalibur, EGG Scalibur, clever name pun here.
I love it. It looks pretty sweet too.
Yeah. So have you guys? What are the deets on this sword?
Go ahead, Bob. I'll leave it to you.
I don't remember. I know it does a ton of damage. I'm trying to look for it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's
It's
pull up a
the King
page, Raph.
Alex. I don't remember his. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Majin.
Majin. Yep,
Majin.
I
If you
just
search
found
him.
that. Okay. Open in browser. Okay, here we go. Excalibur up on screen now. Wow, look at that physical damage. Mythic sword. So yeah, that's the perp going on. Pierce, bleed, and slow. Whoa, and block.
Oh yeah,
Holy.
it's
Yeah,
got four
totally
bonuses.
awesome.
Oh man. And
Yeah,
three enchantment slots. Base
that's got to be the best
accuracy.
one.
Yeah, base accuracy. I see they're trying to balance this out. They're trying. They're doing their best to balance this out. Boy, this would go well with Scally's eye. Um, and then you wouldn't miss it all. Damage modifier, that is very strong. Damage modifier.
So, does the Gore axe drop in the old hunt or this one?
Old hunts. Yep, that's where
Okay.
I found one of those the other day. Lucky, I actually ended up trading it for a bow because it turns out I have no really good two-handed axe
Nice.
heroes, but lots of archers.
Yeah, I found basically on my second hunt as soon as it went live, I found the egg shield, which is pretty cool. But I wish it was Excalibur.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you. This is hot and sexy for sure.
I thought
Minus eight
about this for a
percent
while.
speed. I didn't see that down here while wielding.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
interesting.
just got the heavy armor less than an hour ago, and that decreases your speed and evasion as well. But it does a bunch of
Yeah,
blocks a bunch of damage and keeps you from getting pushed around.
yeah. So Neindorf, that takes us to developments that you've been working on behind the scenes. We have a combat prep page, which is part of the hero data on ADFK, and we are working on loading out all the equipment. And you have the most recent weapons in here.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, walk
Yeah.
us through what
So
you've been working on.
I upgraded this a little bit so that you can put in three heroes. I didn't try to make it smart in any way, so that means you can put the same hero in twice, for example. And I like to do that if you're going to compare a hero like with or without a piece of armor or weapon. So I think it's kind of a feature I left in. But yeah, I've got the Excalibur, I've got the Gorax added. Um, I don't have all of the armors updated yet. I kind of playing catch up here, but the cool part is, yeah, you can definitely see the speed impacts and things like that from
Oh,
applying these weapons and armor. So, and the damage, it's
yeah,
like, yeah,
Squire Sword, your attack goes from 87 up to Excalibur 130 for this hero that I have.
yeah,
That
that's
Wow.
just crazy.
wow, that's almost like double. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah,
Wild.
that's a ton.
All right.
I
And
haven't
Well,
keep in
done.
mind you're doing two-handed, so you're giving up a fair amount to get that
that's
though, I would
true.
say.
But I'd like that you can break down what those variables are because otherwise you have to equip, unequip, wait for the item cooldown, and actually see that in game. So you're basing this off the API information that you're getting from the developer information, right?
So yeah, yep, that's right. So if you when you first pull it, that's right. It pulls from the API. So if you've got weapons, armor, accessories, that is what you'll see first. And the override column is basically, no, I want to play around. I want to swap this out
Mm-hmm.
instead.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
Yeah, that's totally awesome. I didn't have it in me to go through that Google Doc with all the equipment stuff. So this is a good visualization for exactly what everything does.
yeah,
Right. And again, stay tuned. The armor's not all there yet. The accessories, they're not all there yet from the drop downs. So I'm getting to it. I just, it's kind of one of those things. I've been hunting too many boars and writing too little code.
love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, so the rest of the items on tonight's agenda, I wanted to go to the new fight and the strategy. So I've been playing, and actually I have a weak comp here. This is probably the weakest comp that I've laid out against the chickens. A knight and two warriors, and well, not just weak comp, but these heroes are bottom of the barrel for me. Um, what have you guys been finding with success with this hunt? Because it is not the boar hunt by any stretch. Uh, you know, just crypto. You were saying that it's very different, and you like this one more. why do you like this one more, and what hero comps are you using to go at these chickens?
I like this one more because the end game is extremely interesting. Whereas the boar one, once you kind of navigated the first baby and then the second baby, it was just kind of beating on the mama and seeing if you had enough resources or not, or how the RNG went. But this one is basically a two-phase fight. First, you prep, and then you kind of develop a strategy to kill them without something terrible happening to you, which generally takes the form of laying two eggs instead of one, or getting any sort of void chicken,
Yeah,
which I love.
those void chickens are just they know how to throttle me. Um, Neindorf, I feel like, in some of our conversations offline, you feel like a lot of the hero comps that you had been running and leveling up didn't really fit this fight very well. What heroes have you been using? I know you sent me a message like, "Hey, I got it. I got it. I'm beating it now." But like your original comp wasn't working. That worked for the boars, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I would say I had a mix of maybe a mythic hero there, here or there, a couple legendaries, but I did have a lot of rares and commons and uncommons. And I'll be honest, they weren't always the greatest heroes. But if you like, again, as you were saying, Bob, if you knew the rules, you could navigate it pretty efficiently, regardless. And that's definitely not as much the case here. I thought at first. It I kind of got my butt kicked the first set I tried, and then I kind of had to retool and reorganize. And so, I teamed three of my higher rarity heroes together. I'm still rolling the same pair, like the same knight, priest archer. I just love the classic combo of
The
that.
Holy
I'm
Trinity.
sure there's
Yeah.
yeah, there exactly. It's just cool.
I'm.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I
Yep,
really
yeah.
like the archer warrior kind of the best. It's the most fun to me. I also like archer warrior knight. Those are kind of my favorite two to go to. I'm not a huge fan of the priest, but it's fine too. The Holy Trinity can definitely win pretty easily too if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, so what I've been doing is I've been getting both holy light damage and bleed damage on the mom every turn, and then that bypasses the cheap, so you can chip her away
Hmm.
without doing anything. So that's kind of what I've been loving about that one.
Yeah, definitely. The archer's been the standout for me, just because of how you need to be able to damage the second and third line, uh, kind of, you know, uh, when it's time to get to the end game. But yeah, everything's pretty good. I think the priest is fine. It's just kind of a stylistic thing. I really like going two warriors and an archer and just kind of letting them hang low. Say maybe one healing potion, and we're just going.
Yep.
I agree. Archers continue to be the standout. I find that, like, when I bring my knights, and it's probably more just I don't have a lot of high quality knights, that they don't do the damage that allows them to keep up. Um, Occasionally I'll have success when I have the priest in there, but really I've been going for like the damage dealing builds, and can we burst them down before they can burst us down? And I find that with my kind of highest level archers and warriors, I'm doing just fine. Now I do have them equipped with weapons, um, because a lot of my highest level guys are Gen zeros, and I decided I really wanted to have uh, the experience for leveling up my guys. So what I've been rocking with is, for my best combos, I actually like the path that is the flurry and repeating shot build, but I also like Hunter's Mark in this version more so than Hunter's Mark in the previous one. And I feel like Hunter's Mark really boosts the warrior skills, what he can go after, and so anything I lose from like Furious Cleave, missing with that accuracy, I definitely can boost that with Hunter's Mark. So that's what I've been going for.
Yeah, the exhaust one is definitely one to keep in your back pocket too for a Hail Mary when you need it.
Hmm. Okay.
That's some serious damage whenever you need to rain it down. So
Oh yeah, the
the rapid
repeating
shot, I
shot
think
one.
it is
Yeah, for
the red
sure.
one.
Yeah, I do not build my archers like that at all. I found that about half of the time when I lose, it's because I accidentally kill something. So the last thing I want is more crit chance, basically.
So you go in the
Do you do
one.
Pierce for the
Yeah.
first
What
two?
are you doing
Yeah,
for
I
your
do.
archer?
I do Pierce on the first one, then the Shroud, and then I do one Shroud and one AoE.
Okay.
So it depends
Interesting.
on the archer. If he's got a lot of luck, I'll take the one small stone, but I don't use it a ton. And if he's got strength instead of luck, I'll use the AoE bleed, and I'll pair that with the tier 4 channel.
That's so funny how different everybody chooses this.
You probably have a better win
Yeah, the
rate than
Pierce
me.
SI is right. That's the Pierce is really good against the egg because it comes down to you have just a couple rounds to get it before it hatches.
Yep. And that's where I love. Well, and so what level of heroes you guys hunt with? Higher level or at the 12 cap?
For me, I've really been going with higher level heroes. I'm finding that I'm having no problems with these higher level heroes, but I do have a couple groups that are right around the 12, but I have to be selective with who I'm using. I feel like with the boar hunts, I could take really crappy heroes and navigate, the situation appropriately. I I feel like higher level heroes or good level 12s will get me there.
Yeah, I'm doing level 12, level 13, level 14 average comps, kind of just split around. And then usually I'll have, for my good comps, I'll have like one level 15 so I can get access to that tier 5 skill because there's some good ones. The warrior especially, I really like the execute spell because of how Mama Buck is right there.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you were talking about the repeating shot kind of Hail Mary thing. Execute with a warrior is like the ultimate Hail Mary, and it doesn't exhaust you if you miss.
Yeah, that's true.
True. It just burns all your mana.
It burns some amount of mana, yes.
It is
But
pretty
no, I
fun to
love
watch
that.
it hit though.
It's great. It's my favorite skill, I think. And then Gruff, I love the warrior. The warrior is just so much fun.
I haven't been using Gruff, so what are you using on the warrior?
Well, I basically start round one. I'm gonna gruff one of the chicks and get unstoppable for 2 turns, so I don't get blinded and confused like you're doing right now.
Uh huh.
And that's really good just to get some damage. And also, when we're in phase 2 and trying to kind of solve the puzzle of how to kill him without something bad happening, Gruff can prevent both of the bad things I'm trying to avoid. So that's a winner in my book. And it can do range damage to row 3 or 2 to kill one when you're ready. So I think I think it's one of the best skills in the game. It does decent damage too if you got high strength.
Hmm.
If you hit a say a mom's dead and a baby hatches, if you hit that and they taunt, do they not turn super?
Correct. They cast a spell called Ominous Entrance. So if you either silence it or taunt it, those are the
Okay.
main two ways I try to. Well, I mean, you try to kill it before it gets to go, but if that's not working, then the Warrior Knight can handle that if you load those two skills.
Ah, okay. See, I wasn't aware. I guess that's true. It is a spell. Yeah, it's an ability they cast.
Yep.
That's some good insight right there. With the current team I have, I got two legendaries and a mythic, and they're all pretty good, and I got gear on them all. I'm just going for it. I'm just running one really good team and making it easy, and I'm just gonna kind of be happy with that for a few days, I think, before I venture out. I'm a tip my toe in kind of guy.
Yeah, I don't have any weapons. I sold them all once I figured out
Nice.
how to beat it.
Yeah, so that's a great point to go to next. What have you guys been doing with weapons? I know that's been a hot topic in the guild. We have new weapons coming in. We have we talked about the swords, the axe. What are you guys choosing to do with the weapons you have now?
Well, I've sold mine. I just said it, but that's just because of the timing. I think they're cool. I'll try to reaccumulate, a couple weeks down the road when, how these inflationary assets tend to do. But Yeah, I just don't find them necessary to win, so I would just want them for future content, such as PvP or other hunts that come out that are more difficult. But yeah,
Do you think they can make them more difficult? I mean, this was supposed to have, I think they said on the AMA, like a 5% win rate. And I feel like when I'm playing with my best team, like these guys right here, I don't, it's
no.
not and I appreciate the constructive criticism, but like, I don't struggle with this team at all. What do you think, Mandorf?
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of depends. So for me, I'd sold a lot of my original gore weapons early, and then since the price depreciated, I think even where the prices are at now, I think it's worth keeping. It's just honestly not that much money, like in the grand scheme of things. It's sure you can earn a couple bucks, maybe $10 by selling them, but with the amount of assets I have in DFK, $10 really isn't kind of a deal breaker. So I just kind of enjoy the peace of mind or the speed which the equipment buys me a playthrough, and then I could just go fast and enjoy it and kind of be done, if you will. Like I kind of enjoy that, like mopping up the boards and not really having to think too much about it. Um, so I can definitely see the point of selling it. And I have sold in the past. At the moment, though, like I said, I've kind of shifted around the whole just, and we'll see how it goes. I'll probably swing back the other way here in the future too. I'm kind of I play it week by week with this.
Sure. I tried to sell
I
my,
think it'll be.
yeah, go
Oops,
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I tried to sell my drumstick wand right away, and I think I just crashed the floor on that. So, yeah, it definitely, I keep lowering the price, and the floor keeps crashing beneath me. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm hanging on to a fair amount of weapons
No,
right now. What?
I think they're cool as hell. I think they're gonna go up. I think they're gonna go up a ton when PvP gets close.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we're that. Is the thing.
What? So let's go there next. I mean, that's something I
Yeah, good
definitely wanted to
topic.
talk about. I believe it's, and Sticks intern will have to correct us here if we're wrong, but Metis, I believe, announcement from East
Allegedly.
Denver. This came out of left field. I don't think anyone was expecting this. And they must have swooped in with a pretty handsome offer for the DFK team to accelerate PvP development and to make it so PvP was going to be only on their layer 2 Ethereum chain. And that would require us to bridge some assets over there to get this going. But this surprised the heck out of me. Neindorf, I know we talked about this at lunch last week. How did this announcement catch you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I did not expect it. I think it had to happen in some way, shape, or form. Something had to give. The people have been screaming in chats for weeks, months, maybe years at this point about the pace of development. And I would say they have very measured, methodical, quality development, but it has been fairly slow for what a lot of people want to see. I think people forget the size of their team. And a lot of the stuff that they've done has kind of been cutting edge blockchain tech. If you think about the millions of transactions that we've done, so I give them more slack than maybe other people will. But I think we needed this sort of an announcement or somebody else to help if we're to achieve some sort of, you know, critical mass here in this bull. I mean, I know what Bitcoin just broke all-time high again today, I believe. So this isn't a fresh bull anymore. We're underway here. If we don't have content that brings people, I think it could spell trouble. So I think this is a necessary move.
Bob, I have an image up here in chat on the price action of Jewel that you posted earlier
Yep.
in our guild chat today. So how are
I
you feeling
FOMO'd a
about the
little bit.
news? Yeah.
I'm super bullish. I think that was an 11 out of 10 announcement. Metis is one of many L2s. I didn't really know that much about it except for Vitalik's mom. And I used the test net to try to do some airdrop crap, and it was terrible, but that's all L2s, and it doesn't really matter. What really matters is, like you were saying, this is just exactly what the team needs. I think it's perfect. It lets us, them, I mean, I'm not the team, let's say them, develop.
We've all been through the
You
bear
know,
market now, so it's an us.
It's
I
It's
us.
an
know, I
us.
know. I feel like an us, but it lets them develop kind of as quickly as they need to, because that was kind of my only concern. Maybe is that they weren't going to be able to iterate as quickly as is needed to kind of reach the critical mass that. And then they've talked about it a lot, about the need for iteration, about how they're scaling out. Kind of vertically now, adding new things like the speed bar and the potion system is super complex to add, and that once they get that done, they can kind of go back and do some more simple things like adding more codexes and doing kind of a simple dungeon crawler type of thing. And yeah, that's just the main thing I think for keeping it immersion up for people, like the MMO thing. I don't know if y'all ever got completely hooked on an MMO, but I did when I was in my 20s. And yeah, you just need a lot more than a couple of fights, but you don't need nearly as much as World of Warcraft or anything like that. But once we get like another void hunt in a dungeon in PvP, it's friggin' on, dude.
I think you
I
have a good
yeah.
point.
Go ahead, Nightly.
Immersion. Like
People can play
I'm
all day at that point. I mean, they do it
right,
anyways, but they can
and
really
that's a
go there.
and that's a problem right now. You can't. Like, there's definitely been a Saturday where I'm like, I got 2 hours to kill, and then I log in and I'm like, well, my bot's taking care of everything. I'm like, I got a crystal to crack. I'm like, well, all right, I guess I'll go do something else. You can't have that really happen. You've got to have enough, you enough, like you said, whether it's just the simple dungeon crawler where you're almost a guaranteed win, but it's fun. You get to see cool things, maybe get a little drop or something, or your complex PvP. I think yeah, you're right.
The
Immersion is king.
PvP. I mean, we just saw a couple weeks ago what Mythic Squad was able to do with just a tournament system that they ran with the boars. Imagine a system like they're talking about in phase one, where you have private matches, so I can basically challenge somebody like we did in Fight Club. We could set up those tournaments all day with whatever rules we want. The community completely go ape once we get that functionality. So that's the thing. If Metas can help us, then they're my favorite L2, and I'll try not to say all L2 suck and say everyone except for them do.
So what do you think a fee could or should be for a private match? I'm just thinking forward here. Like I think there should be fees associated with it so you can help dev work and all that. I'm just sort of curious.
That's a Hubert question. I don't know.
It is, but like
I don't
would
know
it be
that that
boar
makes
hunt
sense.
like?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Would it be like boar hunts, 10, 20 crystal or something for an organization fee or something small at that point?
For a peer-to-peer fight, I don't know that that makes sense. I think it's going to
'Cause-
help the ecosystem so much that I don't know why they would charge a fee for private matches.
Well, there's
Sure.
going to
For
have to
like
be a
for
gas
like a
of the
queue,
transaction, right?
yeah. But for a private match, I guess you can wager whatever. I don't know. I don't know what they would charge for like a game queue, which is what I was expecting. Then yeah, you would pay to play probably, I'm sure. But for a private match, like if I just wanted to play my friend, it'd be weird to charge me 10 crystal for that.
I mean, I gotta assume they will though. Like especially if there's wagers online, they'll take a cut. I mean, that's just kind of. I
Well,
think that's
yeah, I guess,
expected.
but a wager's got to be optional if it's like a peer-to-peer thing, like where
Gotcha.
we could play for one crystal and they could take 2% of that. I guess that'd be
Kind of like
fine.
a private hire, right? The minimum private
Yeah, I
hire is
guess.
one.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be fine. But it wouldn't be like a boar hunt fee.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
I think so. Like, do you guys want to recklessly speculate? I've been wondering, like, what do you think the negotiations were? Because the team mentioned that like there was a couple sticking points, and then at the end they ended up making it happen. Um, my guess is that the like close to 100% of all the gas transaction fees or any fees that are associated with starting a battle are going to Metis, and DFK gains from whatever upfront capital that Metis is providing them, and they gain from their game being sustainable over time. And if people really want to succeed in PvP, then they have to go to PvE, and they have to farm, and they have to go do this immersive game experience. So and obviously I'm guessing the three of us here have zero insider information on this, but I'm pretty sure it seems like to me, like reading between the tea leaves here, the DFK team saw this opportunity and they're like, we got to strike now.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about opportunity. I mean, that's why all these L2s exist is because they have funding, like serious VC funding, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
VCs just trip over themselves to contribute to. So I think they just had a relationship with DFK and saw what they were doing in the bear market, and we're just like, wow, this is cool. We have millions of dollars that we're basically just giving out for DAOs and stuff and grants and blah blah blah. Why wouldn't we use this to kind of have a somewhat finished product for to basically showcase on our chain? And I don't think the gas is going to be a thing. I think all L2s use ETH for gas, I believe, so they will too. And it's going to be like a sign-in type thing because they've said even a sign-in thing, if you have to do a gas transaction for like every fight, like if you're really grinding this, that's going to add up because the L2s now are like, well, now when stuff's crazy, it's like $1, 50 cents to $1, depending on where you're at. But it's usually between 25 cents and 50 cents, and that's not really going to work either if you're playing 50 matches a day. But
So
regardless,
so
if
you
they want to, yeah, they're going to subsidize it with the Metis token. They have a Metis token which is governance, like Arbitrum token, and uses ETH for gas, but it has ARB for governance. They have the same thing. All L2s are like that, but they're going to subsidize the PvP rollout with Metis token, which is amazing, and it's going to just kickstart it, and it's going to grow from there. It's going to be amazing.
so are you envisioning something kind of you played Dragon's Crossing, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be something like that where most things won't require a transaction unless you get to some actual asset transfer?
Yeah, I think so. Or
Okay, I
like
could
the
see that.
I mean, it might be like we do down in the tavern where you sign in, um, and then you have like one transaction to. But even if it's exactly like it is now, it's going to add up. Doing like two transactions, one to collect your reward and one to start a
Mm.
fight, it's going to add up at because once these things get busy, like right now, go do a swap on Linea or something. It's going to cost you $2. We don't want to do
Right.
that twice for every fight.
That'll start to add up in a hurry.
I guess back to your question, Raph, I think for me, this is huge because I like how they negotiate it without, at least it seems, maybe I'm wrong. It seems as though they found a way to help someone help them develop without giving up equity or without, taking some sort of loan. They basically gave up exclusivity of PvP, and it was bounded by what, a year, I believe, like a new feature for a year. So if I have those terms right, I've watched enough Shark Tank. That seems like they win.
Yeah, I
Who?
DFK, like, well
Hell
done.
yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's amazing.
I
Good.
totally
It's
agree.
like I feel like I'm missing something here. Like, what's the catch here? Like, it seems like
L L2s have it's a $500 million project. That's the catch. They've got all this VC money that's just sitting there to give away for DAOs and grants and blah blah blah. Like that's what L2s do. That's
to
why
win
there's
the L2 race, basically,
I don't know.
to be
I
the number
I
one L2.
I spent 2 months farming airdrops on every L2 there is, and they all suck. But they have a lot of money, so that's why I did it. And it doesn't really matter the logistics of it. I don't think it's just kind of marketing and it's a product for them to showcase basically. But for DFK, it's kind of the perfect thing where they can get a bunch of funding without actually giving up control or taking VC money, which gives equity and gives away control. They kind of get it all. I think it's great, but I
All
don't
right,
understand
yeah,
fully. But that's what I was reading based on the medium.
me too, me too. I'm glad we're on the same page because I was like, wow, I was immediately jacked, and I was kind of expecting tokens to pump right away, but maybe it took a while for people to read, but we see some pretty good price action here today.
Yeah, I appreciate that segue, Neindorf. I mean, we're seeing some really bullish price action, and it does also follow Bitcoin a lot. So it's kind of hard to discern, which is really the dog and which is the tail. Um, what was it the Midas announcement with PvP coming? I think that kind of built the stability backbone of people trusting the project. That then, when the Bitcoin price action happened, this coin was able to follow appropriately. I'm kind of excited. I am, kind of positioning myself to start building an off ramp for profits. It's something that I learned the first couple of runs the hard way, and now I want to make sure I'm positioning myself so I can both have some long term fun with the game, but also like take some profits. I don't need to be doing this crazy degen summoning that I'm doing now. Um, and like you said before, Nightdorf, like you're doing 8 boar hunts a day. That takes a lot of time. And not only does it take a lot of time, but these heroes take an investment. I mean, these greater crystals are so brutally expensive, the greater stones right now. And I don't know if that's a bad thing. In fact, I kind of like that exclusivity a little bit. But it makes me feel like, in the old days, we talked about, like what's your hero size going to be? You're going to have like 2 teams of 3, 3 teams of 3, and then the bear market happened, and anyone who stuck with the game, aped in, and basically everything was free. But now we have to start making some real decisions again. Bob, what do you think the kind of the ideal party size is that you're going to be investing into?
For what? I'm sorry, I was typing.
No, that's all right. So, like, when it comes to just general investment costs of supporting the hero team that you have, when once you get to
Oh, right,
PvP,
right, right.
how many heroes do you
Gotcha.
think you're going to be bringing to the table? Because it's not the army of 1,000 that we used to feel so comfortable with. We have to make hard decisions on.
Gotcha. No, yeah, you were
Yeah,
talking about the stones. I'm sorry, I kind of phased out there for a second, but I
no,
got
you're
you.
good.
Um, yeah, I'm kind of in the accumulation phase still of dark summoning parts, so I don't have a lot of finished products yet. I have kind of a system in mind, and I've been accumulating regular stones, regular crystals. I have a couple sets of greater crystals that I'm just saving for my high value summons. And I don't have a ton of great crystals yet. I don't think I'm going to use those except on the super premiums. But yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to afford to level up and keep as many awesome heroes as I want because, well, I don't know. On the other hand, if I needed to play PvP all day, I probably could. So it's going to be a matter of the crystals, like you said, the greater crystals, especially. It's kind of going to limit it.
Yeah,
And
they're expensive.
we might not be able to play the same 3 heroes over and over and over again, which would lead me to want a lot more. And plus, I just like variety in these type of things, anyways. So I'm looking to get like 40 to 50 good ones.
Whoa, that's a big number.
And
Nine.
then only like 5 to 10 of those would be like premium where I'm using
The greater.
good
Okay.
good
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
greatest.
Yeah. Yeah. We're on a probably a similar quantity of heroes there for sure. Neindorf, I know you were asking today, like, do I take this farming hero up to level? Was it 19 for a sage? You were showing me
It was an uncommon sage going to level 17, and it
17.
had
Yeah.
Giant Slayer, I believe.
Okay.
One of my original ones after I made that Dread Knight. So like I mean it's an old Harmony hero. I've had this hero forever. The moxes alone were $6, but I was like, you know what? I kind of am a little bit of a different mind. I think I've got enough assets in this game that I a greater crystal is expensive, but I can find ways to pay for it if I sell something else. So I it's kind of a weird game. I don't like spending those, but I've been smashing a lot of legendaries together, and maybe not necessarily down the ability train. I've been kind of going for pure legendary mythic greater stoned heroes.
Yeah.
Pure as in, main and subclass. That's just kind of where I've been sitting lately. I'm making a bunch of those, and I've been enjoying that a lot. And some of them are now getting up there in level. I'm getting some of them to 8 or 9 where I can start actually hunting with them, and they're way better than uh,
So much
any of the
better.
other heroes.
I have
So
a
yeah,
I have a couple that have started to get up there, and you're right. Like it is incredibly different how much harder they hit. Like it's kind of like they almost have equipment.
it
Um,
is.
you know what I mean? All right, so let's remind our viewers out there, and I apologize for some of the um, poor stream quality. My ISP was doing some, I don't know, work in the area, and for some reason my frame rate is dropping and my stream rate's dropping dramatically. So we might actually like postpone the giveaway to later in the week, so we can actually have some good entries out there. But our goal tonight, again, the reminder for those of you who missed the start of the stream, Neindorf's question of the day is a favorite mythical sword from fantasy lore, and so you kind of just we're leaving that open ended. Tell us what sword and why you like it. We have some amazing entries as I was
Man, I
documenting here.
realized I never answered my own question.
Oh yeah, go for it.
It's kind of funny. I thought long and hard about it too. I went from places like the Umbra sword from Elder Scrolls to the foe hammer, Gandalf's sword,
Yeah.
to the sword of a thousand truths on a thumbstick.
I thought of the
Uh,
sword of a thousand
That's a
truths
good
for
one.
sure.
uh, you, I, and I was really struggling to pick one, but I would say like the original Lord of the Rings came out kind of at that turning point when I was young enough that I was like that was like super epic. I would have to say Gandalf's sword is probably one of the ones I remember like from my childhood seeing first and being like that is really cool.
Yeah, Aragorn's sword too.
Yes.
I can't. The name's escaping me, but the rebuilt sword for sure. I mean, that has like some epic. It was broken after cutting off Sauron's ring, and now it's been reforged. That's pretty badass for sure. All right, so I'll go through the what we have for submissions so far, and we'll see how the stream quality is doing. If we're getting any more entries in, otherwise we might wait till another day to do this. Shoes my girlfriend wears says the harpy. I think that's a sword from Greek mythology. Um, if I can remember correctly. Wagme says the Zulfikar sword. That has to be, I think that's a sword from Islamic traditions, which I think was wielded by Muhammad. Sticks Intern says, okay, if sci-fi swords are permissible, then I choose Mace Windu's lightsaber.
I totally thought
Because
about lightsaber too.
I'm okay with that. A lightsaber is good enough,
That
close enough to a
counts,
sword for
absolutely.
me. Maddie
What about the
Pest.
vibro sword?
Oh, Vibro Sword? Yeah, I mean, if you were a Knights of the Old Republic player,
Yep.
you know that one well. Um,
Y'all know a lot of swords, man.
yeah, Maddie
I had to
Pesk.
Google to think of one.
Maddie Pesk saying the Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts. I absolutely love that. I
Oh,
love the Kingdom Hearts games growing up. Actually, a game that I've been thinking about trying to get my 9-year-old into. So great call there. Min Lee says the Rapier, Swift, Speedy, and Needly. That reminds me of Needle from uh, Game of
oh
Thrones,
yeah.
right?
Good call.
That's a good one. Um, A Free says Excalibur. I mean, obviously that's right up there at tip of the tongue with Excalibur, especially coming out. And then Sticks Intern coming in for a second entry here, Frostmourne, saying that that's his favorite sword. I don't know what Frostmourne is for, or off the top of my head, what lore that's from. So you'll have to jump in on chat here, Sticks.
Looks like it's World of Warcraft related. I just did a quick Google.
Say that again.
Looks like World of Warcraft related. I just did a quick Google search here.
Okay, nice. Eric is
Looks pretty cool.
saying the Chris. You mentioned that one from the Dune film. I need to go see the Dune film. I heard it was just amazing.
Oh, it's so good. I
Uh,
saw the midnight showing when it came out. It was amazing.
Love it. Rubedo says Gunblade from Final Fantasy VIII, another great sword. Well done.
Oh, I see. Sir Worm saying the dark saber. Oh, that's pretty solid.
Oh, Dark Saber, well done. Ah, this is so good. This is a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Great question of the day.
It when I saw the Excalibur come up, and I was like, no way, that's what they chose. I'm like, I know what the question's gotta be.
All right, so let's get what in the DFK is this? Saying Dark Saber. Rune Scimitar from RuneScape from Minley. Excellent.
Okay, that's another good one.
I think Styx intern is mad at me. He says, yeah, Frostmourne is the sword of the Lich King. I don't have a lot of World of Warcraft under my belt. I played sophomore year in college, and then I realized that my life was dwindling in front of my eyes, and I had enough other vices at the time with extracurricular. I smelled about, or I read about, what marijuana's like, and I decided I should stop doing that one too, and alcohol. So, yeah, I had too many vices in college. We'll just leave it at that. All right. Well, we're getting some good chat action here, so we must be getting good enough stream quality to kind of
Yeah,
keep going.
I think it's keeping up well lately here. Absolutely.
All right, so I have Shoes, Wagme, Sticks Intern, Maddie Pesk, uh, Mealy, A Free, another Sticks Intern submission, Eric, Rubedo, what in the DFK is this? Our friend Sir Worm, and Mindley again. So let's go ahead and let's give it like one more minute of submitting any awesome BA swords from fantasy lore, and we will go ahead and spin the wheel. We're gonna give away. I'd love if we don't have a sword to give away, but we don't have an Excalibur to give away. That would be kind of awesome if we did. But we're gonna give away a Greater Might crystal or stone. What is it, Neindorf, tonight?
Let me go check the wall real quick. We'll figure out what we've got here. If we've got a greater stone, then
Well, let's do the stone then. I mean,
let's see if
let's
we
go
got it.
big.
I gotta remember what wallet all this is on here.
Yeah.
So many wallets.
All right. So we'll kind of end with my last question of the night. We have this great news that PvP is coming out, and your guys, but that's not going to happen right away, as you're saying, Just Crypto.
They said by the end of the year, I believe.
End of 2024.
No. Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow,
The end of this year. Yes.
that's impressive.
That's what they said.
Oh,
I
all right.
believe.
We do have greater might stone is in the wallet.
All right, that's what we'll give away. So, what is, in your guys' opinion, because that's not happening next, that's happening now, end of year, which it would be amazing. What's the most important feature that we need to see next that allows us to get to that end of year, get to that PvP combat? What do you guys want it to be? Is it another hunt? Is it travel?
Oof.
What is that
I've got
next
two.
feature that we need? Yeah,
Go ahead, Bob.
go.
I want to see if you take one of mine. Then I can do the other.
Expeditions. We need something to do with all these heroes, man.
Oh, I'm anti-expedition. Ah,
Really?
it's like the mat generator.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We just gotta. I think that's the most important thing.
Or maybe
Not for me, really, but because I've been on DFK helper forever, but just for the overall game, I think it's important.
Hmm.
All right, I can respect that. What do you got, Raph?
And I don't know if I'm gonna bridge the gap between the two of you guys on this one because you're coming at it from a pretty deep divide, but I like it. I feel like we have to get the heroes out of the summoning portal, and we know expeditions isn't gonna do this, so I'll say travel. We need to get Gen Zeros to stop summoning other Gen 1 10 out of 10s, and I am a Gen 0 holder. I think it will bring up the value of Gen Zeros if they're off helping support travel activities. I think there's a lot of ways you can maintain Gen Zero value by having them do other things that reward you. but in order to fix this economy, which is a little imbalanced right now, uh, just because we haven't had anything to really sink our resources into outside of building more heroes or building pets. Um, Now we can build potions, but that is like we're still minting gold at an astronomical rate. And so I feel like we need get those, no more fornication at the portal. We need to get those Gen Zeros out of here. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think you kind of led into the one where I feel like um, crafting. I think if you're gonna have equipment and if they're gonna take away these guild provided boar hunt armor and weapon sets, you need to have crafting so that the durability gets used, so that items get destroyed. Again, further feeding that mat economy, which is kind of why I said I'm slightly anti expeditions because I want to burn mats. I don't want to make mats. I think it's hard for me to choose between that and then hero burn mechanics, like hero death. Like I think those two, I think that one can wait a while yet, but eventually we're gonna have to pay the piper on that one too.
All right, Bob, do you have a rebuttal on this?
No, my thought with expeditions was not really for in-game economy, but specifically for heroes. It's just to give them something to do. Just because personally, I just have a wallet with 800 that are just sitting there, just because they stopped being useful. So that was kind of the
Hmm.
only reason.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking a lot of people who are unable or unwilling to use a bot would would have some other way, better way to kind of get on a even playing field. So I said it kind of with a sigh, like eating my vegetables type of thing, not to something I'm excited about at all, but I think it'd just be good for the game overall, not necessarily the in-game economy. You're right that it's going to create more materials, not really burn them, but I've kind of accepted the fate of the materials as they go down month over month, year over year at this point.
Yeah.
So whenever that gets fixed would be good, but I don't think that's going to be an easy fix by any stretch, and I don't think that's going to be next.
Yeah, great points.
All right, so we have a healthy wheel filled up by our wonderful listeners out there. Let me jump over into OBS and switch over to the wheel. All right, so we're only going to be spinning one of the wheels, and that's going to be the wheel with everyone's name and the swords that they've chosen. Remember, must be present to win. And so when we spin, call your name. Make sure you say, "Hey, present here, accountable, ready to win a greater might stone." So
And if you
let's
don't DM me, I can't send it to you. So that's the final straw too.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah, because as everything, we don't DM first. All right. So let's spin this wheel. We got so many great entries. Let's see where the air balloon lands. We got. Oh, it's close. It's close. Eric, Storebringer is a great weapon. Trust me. All right, Eric, we trust you, and we are going to give you a greater might stone to show us
Oh,
that Storebringer is ready.
bada bing! Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
It's a big prize. That's like 150 jewel or something, isn't it? It's over 100.
it's
We will thank the DFK team for this stone. So I don't really know.
Nice. That's
yeah,
yeah. That's a big hit.
yeah, big hit for sure. All right, well, thank you everyone for tuning in. We had a lot of fun tonight. Um, Bob, Just Crypto. Thanks for jumping in and helping educate us with the boar hunts. Excuse me, and the chicken hunts because there's a strategy. You mentioned you have some new content that you're working on. When can we expect to see that?
Yeah, I'm working on. I just finished recording two gameplay videos. I'm gonna go through and kind of show examples of what I've been talking about, and some are going well, some are going bad. They're almost always exciting, which is why I really like this hunt. I'll be dropping at least two of them tomorrow. at least one of them tomorrow. Let me put it that way.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, listeners, you guys got to check that stuff out. He's got some great stuff. It definitely helped, I would say.
Yeah, I will post that in chat here in a moment, and then I'll also post that in the comments. So you guys got to go check that out for sure. It is amazing. So thank you both for joining me tonight. It's been a good one and a long one. So remember, two birds with one